Hey, this is Marilyn Gigliotti.
Hey, this is Brian O'Halloran.
Hey, everybody. My name is Scott Schiaffo, actor best known as the Chulies Gum Guy from the film Clerks.
And welcome to Clerks Minute.
You're listening to Clerks Minute.
And I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Hi, this is Mike Zapsik from AMC's Comic Book Man, the podcast I Sell Comics, and the Ming and Mike Show. And you're listening to Clerks Minute. What's up, everybody? This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Man. You got a minute? Good, because you're listening to Clerks Minute.
Hey, this is Walt Flanagan, the Lon Chaney of the 90s, and you are listening to Clerks Minute.
Hey. Oh. So, are you looking for a good Transformer site? Because at carstobots.com, you can get an avatar that's your picture morphed to look like a robot.
Come on, man. You know I only surf Transformer sites when there's girls around so they can see how cool I am.
So what are you doing then?
Trying to secure a going away present for Mr. Dante.
Really? Well, how about an Arwen sword replica?
What?
Because it's, like, thoughtful and practical.
I was thinking of something a little more sexy.
Well, what's sexier than an elf princess's sword?
A donkey show.
What's that?
You ever see a chick give a mule a blowjob?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Clerks Minute, where we break down the 2006 Kevin Smith sequel, Clerks 2, two weird computer problems, minutes at a time. I'm Blake.
I'm Kyle.
And I am Niall McGowan from Bat Minute.
Just Bat Minute, not Batman in 89 anymore.
yeah, we had to, because we've moved on to Batman Returns now, and we had the realization of like, oh no. Oh, what are we going to do? It's like, so we're like, yeah, we're previously Batman at 89, now just Bat Minute. Although technically on the episodes of Batman Returns, we call it Bat Minute Returns. So it's like Bat Minute umbrella, and then this season is called Bat Minute Returns. So
it's like us. It's like with our show, it's under the Clerks Minute banner, but on this episode, they say Clerks 2. So there you go. It works out.
Yeah. I just hope it doesn't make it like difficult for it to find. But if you type in Bat Minute into Google, we'll still come up anyway. So
that's fine. So as I was saying right before we went on the air, welcome to the show, and you're our first international guest on Clerks Minute. So welcome to the show. Yes,
yeah,
cool.
I'm very excited. It's like, that makes me feel like I'm like I've extra pressure to monkey dance, you know. I should ask as well, just you know, because I know from the process of editing, because it's a Kevin Smith based movie, I'm assuming it's okay to swear on the show.
100%. Say whatever you want, because we don't really have a rule when it comes to censorship on this show.
That's fine. Because I've contested this with my co-host on Bat Minute, because I was just like, well, they say shit in the movie. We should be able to say shit. And he's like, no. And then even when we did Die Hard Minute, we did a guest week on that. And we were told, like, no, nothing that you wouldn't say to a 7-year-old. And it's like, Die Hard's not for 7-year-olds. But so, like, every time I get on a show where they're like, oh, you can swear, I'll just like, oh, fuck, here we go. Now it's and I still feel like a little naughty when I'm like, oh, that's right, fuck, you know, been able to say it on air without having to be like, oh, I'm gonna have to edit that out later.
But you know what, though, in the minutes you're in, there's a lot of cursing in the minutes, so it's all good.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you could say that for any moment of a Kevin Smith movie, really.
That's true. It's a valid point.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
Oh, that's funny. That's very funny. I'm so glad that as funny as it may be, these are the kind of movies that you can't edit for television. Like, there's no chance in hell of pulling movies off on TV. So,
I think the best of that is still just the Snakes on a Plane edited for TV version, because it was just so blatant that there's just no way around it. And they had to change like I've had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. That's like everyone knows that movie for the one line. It's like, how do you think you're going to put that on TV and nobody's going to go, wait a minute, I think he said something else there. What happened?
I would have gladly paid Samuel Jackson to go in and overdub the line himself instead of getting a sound alike just to hear Samuel L. Jackson say something that ridiculous.
You know, I've never looked into it. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually was him, because Sam's the kind of guy who just like takes anything. Like he seems to be very much like, oh yeah, if you pay me, I'll do whatever. Like,
you pay me, I'll dress up like Bo Peep and do a tap dance.
Yeah, it's like I don't begrudge it, because at the minute we're dealing on Batman, we're dealing with Chris Walken.
Yeah,
and Chris Walken's regarded as like, oh, he's a great actor and blah 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 blah. And it's kind of like, well, is he a great actor? Because he's always kind of just playing Chris Walken, but he is. I think he's been like open in interviews to saying, if you pay me, I'll be in your movie. I don't care. If it happens to be a good movie, all the better. But like, I don't give a shit what it is. As long as I get a bit of change in my cup, I'll do anything. So,
or you can do Peter Pan live and really fuck up the script.
Peter Pan,
again, I'm sure like he has no regrets, because he's like, I got paid, so that's all I was looking for.
Well, aside from getting paid, he actually says he sees each job as a learning experience.
A valid point.
Next time, just like, maybe not do the live shows anymore.
Yeah, let's not do that again, because that was awful. I didn't even watch it, but I saw clips. It was terrible.
Christopher Walken's kind of like Eric Roberts and other great actors who will do anything.
I think because Eric Roberts went through like a good few years where like people really hated him because he was in nothing but shit, and then he kind of clawed his way back up just by being in a few good movies, and everyone's like, we love Eric Roberts again. And it's like he's not changed.
I've been a fan.
I don't think he would even be like, oh yeah, I was making an effort. He's just like, yeah, they happened to offer me a few good scripts and I took them, and now people love me again. It's great.
I've actually been a fan of his ever since the Doctor Who movie where he played the Master.
Oh yeah, I think I've only ever seen that like the one time, and I was very sort of taken aback because it was so American. I was just like, this doesn't feel right. This seems very, very strange.
But the odd thing is that he's both over the top and utterly terrifying.
Well, the thing I always remember Eric Roberts from is it goes two things now. Is that South Park episode he's in? I think it's like the second season when like a bunch of them get snowed in TV studio and Eric Roberts is there, and they have a whole thing of like within 50 minutes they're resorting to cannibalism, and it's just like, oh, who can we eat first? And they're like, well, Eric Roberts is here. And it's like, yeah, nobody gives a shit about Eric Roberts. And it's just like, it's been 45 minutes. What the fuck, are you people diabetic or something? Jesus Christ.
Oh.
And the only other thing that really comes to mind with him is just, of course, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
But then that's because I always quote his, this craziness. It's too much. It's too much. Yeah. That he has outside Two-Face's hospital room. It's a quote I always work in everywhere, but it's one of those. Unless you know that movie like the back of your hand, you're not going to get that that's from The Dark Knight. Really, it's like it wasn't put up in the trailers or anything. So, but it's my prime. Like when Eric Roberts dies, that's my little clip I'll be putting up on Facebook, like R.I.P. Just that little clip of him going, "It's too much. It's too much."
The one I'd put up would be from the TV movie there. You want dominion over the living, yet all you do is kill. Life is wasted on the living.
Okay, so
that end, I always dress for the occasion.
I'm trying so hard to get back into this so we can get into actually what we're supposed to talk about, what does Clerks do? Let's get back to this. So we jump back in, and if you tuned into our last episode, me and Kyle actually sat down and did the last episode by ourselves. It's one of the rare episodes we did by ourselves. And we were talking about the whole conversation in the office with Becky and with Dante, and we found out officially that they have officially fucked, and that's the thing. But I
have to say that I'm sure like that this was all intentional, but like this whole conversation to me, it's very uncomfortable for me to watch, just because I feel so bad for Dante's fiance, and there's never because at no point is she ever revealed to be like, oh, she's backstabbing him or she's doing the dirt on him beforehand. It's more that him and Becky have done this thing, and they're both likable characters, but she's also perfectly nice person, and it's like, so when you're watching this scene, it's just like, this is wrong. This is all wrong. I'm sorry, dude. I know you want to be happy, but
I'd say the only real flaw that Becky has is that once again, she's also a bit controlling.
But you said, that's about the extent of it, yeah. But even that, though, it's just like, just everyone's got problems. All you have to do is like stand up to her every once in a while and say like, no, we have to reach a compromise. There you go. Relationships aren't black and white. Everyone's got static. So, but do like. I'm sure you guys have probably talked about it, when the character was probably introduced and stuff. But who is your favorite alternate to Rosario Dawson? Because I know she was like a couple of actresses in by the time they cast her. And it's just like,
it's funny for me. I as everyone talks about on this show, I mention this a lot. I absolutely am in love with Rosario Dawson.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is because
that's the problem. I'm in love with her, and I love her so much. I've loved her since this, and I'm a big Rent fan, so of course I love her in that. So it's like, for me, I don't want to see anyone else but her in this movie.
I was gonna say, based on how great her acting was in Wreck-It Ralph, I would say Sarah Silverman would have made a great Becky if she had actually accepted.
True, she did. She was one of the unoffered, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, Sarah Silverman would have been my choice, and that's not knocking Rosario Dawson. Rosario Dawson is like arguably even a better actress than Sarah Silverman. It's just that she is so unrealistically out of Dante's league that the entire movie you're just like, no way. And I know that in real life there's plenty of great looking women who hook up with dumpy looking men because they make her laugh and stuff, and vice versa and stuff like that. But this is like distracting, where it's like she is stunning looking. The thing is, Sarah Silverman's very attractive as well, but she's a bit more like, I could see it at least. Like it's a bit more attainable for Brian O'Halloran to like, I could see him hooking up with Sarah Silverman.
Well,
plus she just has that sort of sense of humor anyway, where it's just more naturalistic. Like, because Sarah Silverman is inherently herself a little bit snarky and stuff, and Dante's very snarky. And it's like, I can see the two of them. That's a match made in heaven. But it's just one of those things now. It's like, much like wasn't it when with Dogma? I think Kevin Smith's always said that he wishes he'd cast Janine Garofalo instead of Linda Florentino. And it's like, you should have, because Linda Florentino, apparently beyond being horrible to work with, allegedly, she's a bit of a sort of charisma vacuum in that movie, whereas Janine Garofalo is, most things I've ever seen her in, she's always like the sort of a real bright spark when she shows up. So it's you got to put that in the pile of like, it's alternate movies we could have seen if the world just worked a little better,
But Dante would always feel a little bit intimidated though if they had actually had Sarah Silverman play Becky, because she's fucking Matt Damon.
A valid point. A valid point. I think it's funny because it's not like Jennifer Schwalbach, who plays Emma, is not attractive as hell. You know what I mean? It's like, and I say that knowing that it's Kevin Smith's wife, but still.
Yeah. I think maybe because I can accept that more though, because Brian O'Halloran looks a bit like Kevin Smith. So it's like, well, I've seen the two of them together, kind of. So I can imagine that happening. Whereas Kevin Smith and Rosario, although to be fair, he was going out with Joey Lauren Adams as well. Yeah. So like she's stunning too. So, but no, I think Rosario Dawson still is very distractingly like, oh my god, this is like she's just too. I don't know if they could even try to like make her look a little plainer or something,
it's
because
not
she's just so.
Though. It's just not possible.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty much as like maybe they're coming in like literally rubbing dirt in her face or something. They're like, we can't do it. She's just too pretty. Damn it! Yeah.
Well,
we're just gonna have to go put some glasses on her. That'll be fine. Yeah.
If you look at her like the Marvel Netflix shows, it's impossible for her not to look amazing. Like it's impossible, no matter what they do to her in those shows.
Well, put glasses on her. Try to make her look dumpy that way. No. You can't.
The glasses actually make her look hotter.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird situation how that works. So, and I've actually been making this comment to other people. I'm doing this movie, and I'm also with my wife. I'm doing Rent.
Oh.
And she's in that movie as well. So unintentionally, this was not planned. I'm literally doing
a third project. Like I'm doing Sin City Minute. Min City is coming up. That's my next project after this one.
Yeah. But it's just funny how I ended up with two projects at the same time with the beautiful Rosario Dawson in the movies. It just happened that way for me. I get to stare at her for hours at a time doing these projects. So
that's it. That's not a bad way to pass the time.
Not at all. Not whatsoever. So let's jump back into the scene here. In the conversation, before they get interrupted by Randall again, which happens a lot in these